All right, good morning, everybody. Vince McJam with you here on the Nation Network, and it's Open Mic Night. The main subject to be discussed here on this edition of Open Mic Night is about the current state of the World Wrestling Entertainment Company, WWE, and what I feel is like their last chance to get it right before somebody does it better. So right now we're looking at Raw versus Smackdown. Now, that's not something new. We've seen that for the past better part of 20 years now. And the reason it has never worked since the day they defeated the WCW and essentially put them out of business is because everyone knew. Doug in the house. What's up, buddy? Everyone knew that it was the WWE versus the WWE. It doesn't work. They have tried so many different variations of the same thing for a brief period of time. They kind of blended it to one brand. Then they went back to a brand split. They got this wild card crap. Nobody has been into that. It has failed miserably for decades. Having brand-specific pay-per-views, one of the worst ideas ever. However, now they may actually be onto something if they can get out of their own damn way. The idea of letting Paul Heyman run Monday night and letting Eric Bischoff run the Smackdown program is potentially genius. Now, we all know Vince has final say in everything, and that could be where the problem comes in. And I want to welcome everybody who's coming back from the previous stream. Thank you, guys. Let me pull up a separate chat window here so I can keep an eye on everything. Pop out. That's what we're looking for. So here's what I'm predicting at this point in time. If they allow these guys to do what they're supposed to be doing, which is going head-to-head, then you have got a legitimate competition between two of the better minds in the history of the program. Now, hands down, in my world, I'm a Heyman guy. And if I had to bet money on which of those two guys is going to come up with a better product, I'm putting my money on Paul. That said, Bischoff had a pretty good run at one point in time. Could lightning strike twice? It could. Either way, it will be a much better program in both cases, much more watchable program than the Shane McMahon, Vince McMahon, Stephanie McMahon bullshit that they have force-fed us for over 10 years. And it comes back to if they can stay out of their own way. I agree with you, Doug. The roster split is more than annoying. It is stupid, it is pointless, and it does water down the product, in my opinion. Now, I get it. They got more names on their roster than any other companies out there have probably combined. But whose fault is that at the end of the day? But I honestly think with all those titles floating around, it hurts the end product. When you have the WWE Championship and all of a sudden you have a Universal Champion, nobody's ever bought into that. Nobody gives a shit about the Universal Championship. The heritage is with the WWE title. And that's what they need to be promoting. You know, one of the other things I'm hoping is that they allow Heyman and Bischoff at some point in time. It won't be immediate. But I think if there's some success shown in the ratings, then hopefully they'll allow them to create real championship belts again instead of that carbon copy crap. John, I totally agree with you. Everyone over 45 out of the locker room, please. Get your ass out. We've seen you. Been there, done that, got the t-shirt. Let someone else in. Do I think Vince is going to give Jeff another chance? I'm going to be honest with you. I do not keep up with today's product very much. The only reason I'm looking at it now is because I think this has potential to make it watchable again. So I don't know what he did. I'm going to guess he done fucked up and got drunk or missed a match. So somebody clue me in. What did Jeff do this time? Which wagon did he fall off of? Jeff Hardy just arrested again last night. What did he get arrested for? Damn it, Jeff. He must just like getting mugshots or something, you know? Yeah, I tell you what, that TV title actually made the TV programming a little better. I believe so as well. It was a good feud title. And I'll give him credit. As much as I hate the 24/7 belt, I think it looks atrocious. It has, you know, from the clips that I watch on YouTube, been somewhat entertaining. And God knows they lost the entertainment in WWE a long time ago. But it's been kind of silly and fun and reminiscent of the Monday Night Wars and the Attitude Era. So for that, I give him credit. So, John, I'm a big NXT fan, even though I don't watch it as much as I really should. And when I do watch, it's usually going to be the takeover shows, and they're always just amazing. Here's the problem, though. If all you do is move the NXT roster up to the main card, then it's still NXT under a different banner. So I would not want to do that. I would be in favor of taking, you know, your top 5 to 8 talents and moving them up. Public intoxication in Myrtle Beach. So he wasn't driving a vehicle. What did he do to get arrested? I mean, you can be drunk in public. That's normally not going to get you arrested. Usually you did something. There was a behavioral issue. Same place he got his DWI a year ago. Oh, man, must like that bar a lot. Arrested in South Carolina, charged with public intoxication. I mean, yeah, they can, but generally speaking, you really got to be fucking up to get arrested if all you are is in public drunk. I mean, was he like doing swantons off of somebody's car? I'd be curious to know more details. So that'll determine how much of a forgiving mood Vince may be in. He's still over big time, but at the same time, how much more does he have left in the tank to offer the WWE at this point in time? I think they got a good 2.5, 3 year run out of him. And back to the thing we're talking about, make room for the new talent. So if I'm McMahon, yeah, I'm cutting him loose. There's not enough upside, in my opinion, for him at this point in time. It'd probably be better for him to go to something like AEW anyway. Yeah, 41 years old, the style of wrestling he does, I'm letting him go. Without incident and books into Myrtle Beach, if convicted, public intoxication could face up to 30 days in jail, $500 fine. Neither of those will happen. They might give him the $500 fine just because he can afford it and they want the money. But without incident, no. Vince probably won't fire him over that per se. He may just determine that as an overall total baggage issue, it just isn't worth it. And that's where I would be. At 41, I think we've just done as much as we got to do with him. Yeah, John, I agree. Again, sprinkling some of the NXT, and for that matter, some of the UK into the two main brands to freshen it up. I would keep the names like Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens, who, while they're now considered, I would say, the veterans in that class, they're still younger than, you know, The Undertaker, Triple H, these guys that they're keeping around way too freaking long. But at the same time, I'm hoping to God that Heyman or Bischoff is going to get a hold of Dolph Ziggler and put the fucking belt on him. The best talent they've had for a decade, and they have done shit with him. It makes me sick. Ocean Enclave by the Hilton Grand Vacations Hotel for a report of an intoxicated man at approximately 11:15 a.m. Holy shit, Jeff. Nothing like some tequila with your eggs, buddy. Yeah, I got a funny feeling they might use this as an excuse to cut him loose and save some money on a contract and just there's plenty of young talent to give the opportunity to. Yes, Doug, Extra Life, I am always doing it. It's always in my description. It's running all the way through. So anytime anybody wants to drop another donation, we got another $5 or $10 donation recently from one of you guys, and I appreciate it very, very much. We've already exceeded the goal that was set at the beginning of the year. So my big run is always going to be the WrestleMania run or the Nation Mania run, which takes place the same week as WrestleMania. So my next super event that will be designed to raise money directly for that event will be late March, early April. But in the meantime, up until November 2nd, you can continue donating. And again, the link is right in the description box. I don't have a lot of links in the description box. I keep it simple. All right, good for you, man. You did really good last year. I mean, honestly, between yours and my channel, I don't know. We should add it up. I'm guessing between my 2-year run now, you did the one. We're probably close to a $2,000 combined total, which, shit, hats off, man. For those of you not familiar with the Extra Life program, please check out the link below. Just go take a look at it, see what it's all about. Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. They're going through like a reorganizational kind of thing. Maybe a rebranding is a better way of describing it. And but they're still doing the same work, and it's an amazing group, and I highly recommend that you donate anything you can, even if it's only $1. Do it, man. It's just it's a great cause. I can't say enough about them. I put in my money, a pretty good chunk of change. My girlfriend put in a big chunk of change. She matched mine, surprised the shit out of me. Eric needs to find a top heel other than Shane. Well, no, Shane's being taken out, thank God. And that does give me hope because that means they are actually listening to the fans. So everyone is in agreement that Shane McMahon is going to be losing all of his TV time very quickly, and he's going to fade away into obscurity, as he should. Yeah, 720 on a run is a great job there, man. I was shooting for 300 this year, and I'm just over 500 now, so hats off. AEW comes to television. I believe it's October is when they're going to start doing their TBS or TNT contract. And I'm looking forward to it because everything I'm hearing right now is that they're going to have a whole different vibe going on with the TV programming. I'm excited about it. Just to have something else. I do expect it to be a little bit sharper than the last couple of events that either have been on pay-per-view or you can watch them on their live stream service there off of their website. I've got to admit I'm kind of behind on the Fyter Fest. Didn't get to watch all of that yet. I started to, and then just life got in the way. So I'm going to try to do that this week sometime, I hope. I have seen all the highlights, and there were some sick bumps in that thing. But they have all the potential in the world. I'm enjoying my own AEW program that I'm running here on the channel because while they haven't actually started theirs all the way up yet, I've kind of taken some ideas from things they've talked about and even some of the ideas that they've thrown around. Now, I'm having a lot of fun with my Joker's Wild once a month for people that are not even in the top 10 to give literally everybody an opportunity to go after a championship title of their choosing. And I hope they would steal that from me because I think it's a great idea and it'll make it very entertaining. John, I am not familiar with Darby Allin as of yet. I'm sure I will be, though. All right, so here's the question I really asking all of you guys, and it's kind of the title of the video, is can SmackDown or Raw versus SmackDown, can it actually be a legitimate Raw versus SmackDown finally, now that we have two opposing legitimate egos who I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt to right now are going to have control of the programs? Everything Pro Wrestling. What's up, buddy? Paul Heyman versus Eric Bischoff. Can it really work? I say yeah, if you let them. You gotta let them go. Now, one of those programs probably won't do so well. And I'm betting my money on Smackdown. It's always with a very brief period of time during the Attitude Adjustment, or the Attitude Era, rather. SmackDown was always the inferior program. It just didn't have the same bang. When it first came out, it was pretty hot. And then, I don't know, maybe 6 years in, they became the show to watch instead of Raw for a little while. But over the entire history of the program, Raw has always been superior. Right now, they're both just toilet water. And I think if you let it happen, that we might see the closest thing to a Monday Night War within the same company that could be considered legitimate. I mean, imagine if you're telling these two guys, essentially their jobs are on the line. Let's say Paul Heyman all of a sudden goes up 1 million viewers and Bischoff maintains the status quo. Well, now maybe McMahon decides, I'm going to go against Heyman and take over SmackDown. So Bischoff's got to be thinking to himself, I'm fighting for my job, and let's not talk about egos, because he and Heyman, they may get along in the same room, but they both want bragging rights against one another head-to-head, especially Heyman. I mean, think of what Bischoff did to ECW. Everything Pro Wrestling, that is the million-dollar question. That's what I'm asking, really. If we know Vince has the last say, so how much is he willing to let these guys do what he couldn't do or was unwilling to do? Because he have to, basically, to let them do what they want to do, he has to sit back and say, all right, my way's not working. And I don't know, Vince doesn't say that too much in history. He also hasn't had to, and that's part of the problem right now. A wise man once said, adversity introduces a man to himself. Well, right now, Vince is getting a good long look in the mirror every time the ratings come out. SmackDown just missed this last week, having the all-time low rating going head-to-head with baseball, which, honest to God, how many people really watch baseball that much anymore? I mean, I was surprised when I heard the number was like 8 million people watching Home Run Derby. Like, really? I thought baseball pretty much priced themselves out. Went on strike too many times. I thought they just did too much damage to get back to those numbers, but I guess. I think moving to Fox actually can help them if there's not enough damage done already, and that is the million-dollar question right there, too, because both products are in a decline, substantial decline. I mean, you can only put so many curtains up in an arena before you're in a gymnasium, in which case you might as well pay for the gymnasium. It's cheaper. EPW, AEW, so far, it has potential. It's still not, like, blowing me away. That's still NXT. NXT is still the one that I know I can sit down and watch and truly sit through the entire hour and not want to fast forward. With AEW, some of it I'm enjoying a lot. Other parts, not so much. I'm waiting for their TV to kick in before I make any real judgment, though. It's too early. Earl of Strohs, welcome aboard, buddy. And look, a lot of people don't like Bischoff. Let's be honest. There are people who don't like Heyman. But both of them are amongst two of the three most successful human beings in the history of wrestling. So now you put these two ultra egos head-to-head against one another. You give them the reins to a billion-dollar company. Let's see what happens. That has potential. And by the way, you want to talk about shoot? That's going to be about as shoot as it gets. Now, we talk about these authority figures and how it's ruining wrestling, and it is. What will work is when the authority figures are shooting on one another and then letting their guys go out and do the dirty work. There's nothing wrong with that at all. But get Shane the hell out of there. Yeah, Fox is definitely, I mean, you know, take a look at the stuff that they've had on the air on that network. No doubt about it. Just no doubt about it. They're going to want something that's more contemporary, that's going to cater to a different audience. And edgier is correct. And they've already shown that they're getting a little edgier, but they're not doing it well. They're so rusty because they've been PG so damn long, they don't know how to get their heads out. MLW is not a bad product either. It's not something I make a point of watching, but if I come across something on YouTube or whatever, I can sit down and watch a little bit of it. If Heyman only owes you $5, buddy, you're doing a lot better than a lot of other people. So I'll be very, very curious to see. I'm trying to look in my mind of, predicting the booking based on what we know about both guys. So Heyman, look what he did with ECW. Now, a lot of people automatically think he's going to go right back to the ECW format. He's going to go back to something with extreme and hardcore. And there may be an element to that, but I highly doubt, because when you look back at what he did with ECW and why he did it and how he explains the evolution of wrestling at that time and likens it to the evolution of music at that time, it wouldn't make sense for him to go back today and start doing something like Nirvana, because Nirvana's gone. That's done. And now times have changed again. So my question is, what is Paul Heyman's vision of 2020? What is he going to chase? Well, obviously political correctness and Paul Heyman go hand in hand. This should be fun. And if you're going to put something on Fox with an edge, there's the marriage made in heaven. Matthew, how are you, buddy? Welcome aboard. Thanks for joining the stream. I don't know that we do a draft. Here's your roster. Enjoy. You want a draft? Go steal somebody from NXT. Bring them up. I think the draft is stupid because it's not real and everyone knows it's not real. Now, if you're going to make a real draft, a legit draft where these guys go at, head to head like NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, all of them do, then I'd be in favor of it. I don't know how you could ever convince me that it was real and not staged and rehearsed. Yeah, WWE has a lot of problems right now, Earl, and they're on the road to recovery if they let this happen, and that's the million-dollar question. Will they let it happen, or will they screw the pooch like they've done in the past? Impact going to Access TV. I'm going to sit here and tell you primetime legit. I have no idea what network Impact is on now. So I gave up on them a long time ago. They're kind of on, in my opinion, they're on life support. They have talent now, which is sad, but you've gone belly up, 4 or 5 times already and had somebody swoop in at the last minute and save you. And at this point in time, I just can't really get behind the product, even though some of the little bits I've seen here and there, again, going back to YouTube, I liked what they did with the Allie character, how they wrote her out and all that, and kind of, even though that was very soap opera-ish, I like the fact that they went to a death angle, It's like, damn. Matt, we're just talking about what could happen here with this Heyman head-to-head with Bischoff thing, and whether or not the WWE will really let it play out the way it needs to, or will Vince get involved and screw things up and piss one of them off enough where they decide, fuck it, man, you want me to do this, and now you're not letting me, I quit. Which is what I really think is going to happen at the end of the day. Here's what I don't get. Maybe it's just me because I'm not watching the product at all, but I have not heard the letters XFL in almost a year. Is that still a thing? And if it is, shouldn't Vince be full-time dealing with that now? And if he is dealing with that, stay the fuck out of wrestling for a while, dude. Last time you didn't dedicate 100% to XFL, it didn't do very well. John, I'll tell you right now, I was a huge ECW fan, as I'm sure most of you guys out here were. So I get it, yes. It was known for the edge and the hardcore and the bloodlust and all that kind of stuff. And Heyman did bring out and revolutionized by bringing in the cruiserweights, bringing in the lucha libre. And that's my question. Where do you, because that's already been out there now. So we've seen the lucha libre. We've seen Lucha Underground. We've seen cruiserweight champions in WCW, WWE. What can you add that we haven't already seen? From a talent perspective, I don't think there's much left to do. You can't introduce wrestling that we haven't seen because now with the internet, we've seen Japan, we've seen Mexico, we've seen everything there is to see, UK. So introducing something we haven't seen, that's pretty much out the window. I don't think you're going to do that. So now he's got to come up with a format that either we haven't seen or we haven't seen it in so long that it feels fresh and exciting. Well, Matt, ask your question again. What was it? Earl, I would definitely not, if I was any of those other companies, use the NWA World Champion as the champion because I've already established my own. What the hell would I do that for? Now, that said, having them defend the NWA World title at their programs, especially their supercards, no problem with that whatsoever. Lending legitimacy to it and saying, hey, it's the NWA World title, that's fine. But I wouldn't ever put it in the main event ahead of my title. Yeah, Matt, sometimes these YouTube filters block out words that they shouldn't even be blocking out, so that could be part of it. All right, so Primetime XFL is supposed to be coming out 2020 or 2021. Is that because they can't make up their mind, or you just don't know the exact date at the moment? Because if they're saying 2020 or 2021, that tells me forget about it. Because not for anything, how old is Vince now? I mean, and it already seems like he may be losing it a little bit. So I think he's the only one that believes in the XFL. So if something, God forbid, happens to Vince McMahon, the XFL's dead. Nobody's pursuing that. But Matt, again, the ECW thing and Heyman doing strong style, we've seen it. Even though it hasn't been on WWE programming, we've seen it. So he's got to come up with something different. It's not a styles thing. It's going to be something to do with what kind of storylines are you going to run, or are you going to make it more realistic? I do not watch Impact on Twitch. Is that where it is there? You have to watch it on Twitch? There's no TV coverage? I mean, if they're not on TV at all, then they're dead. Jeremy, man, I appreciate you being on the stream, buddy. I don't agree, though. The NWA title is a heritage unlike any other wrestling championship. I love the fact that Corrigan has revived it. I like what he's doing with it. I like the fact he does not have a promotion, that he's got a champion. I like it. And I say keep it going and use it. Use it to promote, rather than a promotion, use it to promote an individual and still elevate this championship slowly. It's going to take time to make it a legit title again, but they're on the right road with it. And I totally agree that I think everything they're doing with it is a good idea. Corrigan, I think at the end of the day, he would like to have his own wrestling program. Will he? It would kind of almost be assisted suicide at this point in time. You got too much going on. You got the WWE doing what they're doing right now. And again, if they allow it to happen, that's going to be a monstrosity. You got AEW coming on, stealing everything. You got ROH already in existence. NXT's out there. I just don't know that there's that much left of the pie at that point to make it financially feasible Stick with the title that you paid for. Build it up. Make some sort of partnership, perhaps, with one of these other companies that still has something to offer. But I definitely would not, if I was him, would not be wanting to start an NWA company at this point in time. I fail to see the upside. I've seen very little world sport of wrestling. Very little. Not enough to even comment on, to be honest with you. I just don't have that much time. Pop TV, yeah, that's a major network. That's my point right there, though. I mean, at this point in time, if you could have told me that Impact was off, had closed their doors 2 months ago, I wouldn't have been surprised. And it's not for talent, man. They got John Morrison, or John whatever his name is today. Johnny Impact. I mean, changes it every other month. You got Tessa Blanchard leading the ladies. You've got talent. What you don't have is showrunners. You don't have writers. And you just don't have a quality product. That's just all there is to it. And again, they've been on life support too many times. The ship has sailed. Yeah, Matthew, the old NWA promotion was great. No doubting that. I don't know that you could go back and do it again now, though. And, John, I agree. MLW, I have not seen anything about them that makes me want to go back and watch another show. So, occasionally I catch it just by fluke, and I'll watch a little bit. But, yeah, it's definitely nothing I care about. I love that quote. They have gone to break and never came back. If that doesn't say it all. In my world, that's a message from God. ROH has definitely lost a lot of the zip that it had. What was the dude's name that was running it for the longest time? Cade, or what the hell? I mean, I'm drawing a blank. Y'all know. Somebody's going to have the name out there. And then, what did he lose it in some sort of a backyard deal or some shit? I think the guy yanked the carpet out from under him and screwed him over or something. But ROH was really solid back in, oh, goodness, mid-2000s? About the time Danielson was there and Nigel, when Nigel was the champion. They had a really good thing going back then. But, yeah, today they're not what they were. So Magnus still has the NWA title. James Storm, talk about, Gabe Spolinski. Thank you. Sapolsky. What happened with his deal? Didn't he get screwed out of the ROH somehow? Wasn't he supposed to still have some sort of control, and he kind of let somebody in as a partner and then screwed him over? But when Gabe had it, I thought it was a pretty good thing to watch. And back then, you had to make an effort to watch it unless you lived in the area. For those of us in the other markets, you had to get your torrent sites and go to your Pirate Bays or whatever else. But I made those efforts because I liked the product so much. Yeah, see, that's what I'm talking about. The NWA belts on ROH TV, that's exactly what I'd be doing if I was Corgan. Why am I going to blow tons of money when I can just put a little bit out there, still build my brands, and then at some point in time down the road, let's say ROH is going broke, and then he can step in and resurrect and buy it out cheap and get the videotape library to go with it. That would be smart. So Gabe has the Evolve now. That's right. I do recall that's coming back to me. But what happened to him with the ROH? How did he just outright sell it, or did he get jobbed out of it at the end? Bad business deal pushed him out. I kind of remember something to do with that. It's a little fuzzy. It was a while back, and again, I wasn't in the local market, so it wasn't that big a deal to me. All right, John, thank you for being by here, buddy. I appreciate you, man. You catch so many of these live streams live, and I appreciate the input. You have a great day. Yeah, Billy is definitely looking long-term with the NWA, and he's been very smart. You know, look at it. For a guy who hasn't been in the wrestling business a really long time and has been burned already a couple of times, and let's, address the elephant in the room, he doesn't even own anything. He owns 3 letters, NWA. He doesn't even own the belt. The WWE has the rights to that belt, and anytime they really wanted to, they could hit him with a cease and desist unless he bought it off them and I missed it. But the fact that they are in no way, shape, or form a threat. Well, I'll say this much. I think it'll be very interesting. Give it a month from now. I'm waiting for Heyman and Bischoff to really, really have a chance to take hold of the product, put out 4 or 5 episodes with this new idea, and see how much of it is real and how much of it is hype. But I think that if they go out and do it right, and that's a big if, when we look at the track record for both companies, or both programs, I should say, it's a big if. If they let him do it right, if they let Heyman have control of Monday night, if they let Bischoff take control of Tuesday night, and if it is a true ratings war, you're not going to put them head-to-head. It's the same damn program. But not only are they going to go head-to-head in the ratings on a weekly basis, you're going to have AEW out there. So one of them on any given night will be going head-to-head with legitimate competition. And who's going to be the one to step up and get it done? All right, everything. Have a great day, buddy. I'm about ready to wrap this sucker up as well. Appreciate you stopping by. Well, fans, for those of you that are watching this thing after the live stream, feel free to post your comments down below. I'd like to still hear from other people. Let me know what you think. Paul Heyman against Eric Bischoff. Is it the real deal or just the latest failure in the WWE trying to pretend that they're going to give the fans what they want and then fail? I want to thank you guys for hanging out with me for this edition of Open Mic Night. We'll be back with more old school wrestling in the very near future. Have a great day, everybody. See you soon. Bye.